In this video, I'm going to share with you my typical way of flattening watercolor paintings. At least this is my current method. I even threw in a little experiment by flattening over a towel, and you'll see how that goes in this video. This one I used with a lot of water as I was painting it, so you can see that it's quite warped. And I used to actually iron them, and then I was told that that wasn't a very good idea by someone who is experienced in using or working with papers. And I mean, I think at a very low heat with some protection like towels over it, that might work. But they had suggested this way, so I have tried it a few times on smaller, less warped paintings, and it worked pretty well. So I don't know, it doesn't work every single time, but let's see if it works for this one. So all I'm doing is spraying down the back with a small spray bottle. So I turned it over, I have a clean towel, and I'm just going to evenly wet the back of this painting. You could probably do this right on the surface of your table, but I don't know, I just kind of want to make sure it's extra protected. And then because this is such a large sheet, I want to just make sure it's evenly wet. So I'm just going to use a brush and make sure it's evenly wet so that when it dries, it also can like evenly dry. And I don't have pockets, so let's just see if this works. And you'll see your paper begin to curl. And maybe if it's the first time you're trying to do this, you could try and do it with a painting you're not too worried about. I mean, honestly, if you're just painting the back or you're just wetting the back, it shouldn't affect the front. It would, as long as you're not completely soaking the paper, but it should, your front side of your painting should be okay. You know, I could turn this around and show you. So the front side's going to remain dry. It's just your back side that's wet. Okay, so just making sure it's even. And then all I'm going to do is lay down a board, some flat surface. So I'm just going to use this because I already have this large piece. It only needs to be a little larger than your actual painting. And this is a very light board, so what I'm going to do is then add something heavier on top of it. All right, so now that we have this weighted down, we'll just wait until it dries. I've left it for 24 hours before. I guess it just depends on how much time you have. I think the longer the better, because then it will evenly dry all the way down before you come back and remove the books and the weight or whatever it is you put on top. So we'll just check on this later and see how flat it gets. All right, so it's about 5 hours later, and I'm gonna check on this painting and see how flat it is. All right, so it looks pretty good. The edges look like they're a little bit wrinkly still, but the rest of it looks pretty flat. I just feel like it might still be a little bit damp, and because, let me show you, these edges are not quite flat yet, I might actually spray it down and do it again. So I'm gonna do that and see if I can't get this flat. And honestly, it might be because I've kept it on this fabric, and so I may just take this away and then just put it on another clean sheet of paper instead of directly on the tabletop. So let me do that. All right, so what I have here is actually an empty Arches pad. I'll show you that. So it's like this. I had wanted to save this for my 100-day project. So basically it is just empty, and what I can do now is use this as a clean piece of paper to put this on, just like this, so that it has a clean surface to go on. And I'm actually going to do the same thing I did earlier, spray it down and then make sure it's even and then weigh it down again, and hopefully these edges don't do what they did before and they all flatten out too. So we'll give that a try and see how it goes. Alright, so I only thought it would be fair to let this sit for a day and then come back and show you if it was still flat, because I mentioned that sometimes it doesn't always stay flat, and this one I want to show you how flat it did stay after even removing it from underneath the heavy books. So actually it's pretty good. This is probably the best way to see, because you can see the shadows on my desk where it's a little bit warped, but it is clearly so much better than it was before. So this, let's move this up. This is a little bit, it's a little bit warped, just a tiny bit, but not by much. So I would say this is pretty good. I didn't know about this method until maybe 2.5 years into watercoloring, and I found it really helpful. So hopefully this tip helps you too.